Well, dear friends, today in the second part of the series pertaining to leadership and communication. Now, what do effective leaders have in common? You see, an effective leader, he knows what is good for the organization and what needs to be done. He has a very clear vision in his mind that what is to be done for the organization and what is the right thing for the enterprise, and accordingly he develops action plans. So the leader take responsibility for the decisions. He develops the right action plan, and accordingly when he executes his action plan, and suppose something goes wrong, an effective leader will not shift the blame on others. No, he will take responsibility for the decisions, and he has the responsibility for effective communication. If I am not able to communicate to my comrades, to my followers properly, then the fault lies with the leadership. He takes fullest responsibility for communicating, and the leader, he will always focus on opportunities, not problems. He will always treat problem as a positive opportunity, and most importantly, he runs productive meetings. Whenever he conducts the meetings, because it is the time of the organization, and he uses that time in a very productive manner. He will not be having the futile meetings where a lot of time of the organization is wasted without any result. So whenever any meeting takes place, and he will ensure that the meeting has to be productive and it has to be result oriented, and leader will always concentrate on saying we, not I. He is a team man, he is a perfect team man. You see, when I say that a leader takes responsibility for decisions, here sometimes I remember very able leadership of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I have seen him numerous times. When the team has lost, he comes at the forefront and takes the responsibility that it is me who is taking the blame for the defeat. And with humility, when the team wins, he shares, he gives sometimes the whole credit to his team members, that it is the team who played as a joint unit. So that is an effective leadership. Ineffective leadership will be that where a leader is not ready to accept the responsibility, he is not ready to accept the blame. So the art of communication is the language of leadership. You see that James Hume's very beautiful lines, that the art of communication is the language of leadership. How do you communicate? How you impress upon your followers? How you transpires with your followers? What is that? Is the gift of the gap, which we say the art of communication. So, dear friends, if you have good art of communication and you know how that communication has to be shared, that is an effective leadership. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. Peter Drucker, the most important thing in communication, that is what is not said, that is the most important thing in communication, that the followers must understand that what the leader has to say. So the most important thing in communication is in hearing what is not said. So now the communication. Communication, you see that a person's personality is reflected in communication, and it is a dynamic process. It will never end. It is a dynamic process. So it is a process where with that process we share our feelings, we share our emotions, we share our exchange of ideas and get the feedback. So communication is a series of experience of hearing, smell, seeing, taste, seeing, touch. This is all a part of communication. So it is a basic communication model, dear friends. Sender is there, and any response, any communication, whenever he has to send it, he will encode that gestures, symbols, language, and encode his message, and then he will use a channel, whether that channel is a phone or an email, whatsoever the channel is, and then he will send that, and the person who is receiving the message, he will decode, and then he will receive the message, he will understand it, and then accordingly he will send his feedback. That is the feedback, and then this is the process which goes on. So communication is always, dear friends, a two-way process. It is not a one-way process. Suppose I speak with you in a German language which you are not able to comprehend, which you are not able to understand. Will it be a communication? No, it will not be a communication until and unless you send me a feedback you are not able to understand, then we cannot say that this is a communication. So total communication process, when we divide, you see the most important part of communication, you will be surprised, is not speaking, it is not writing, it is not reading, it is listening. Listening is very important, because listening is very important as well as listening is very difficult. You see, we can speak, I can speak maximum 200 words per minute, 250 words per minute, but our mind has the capacity of receiving at least 3000 words per minute. When there is a gap between my listening, between my speaking and you are receiving, so the mind goes wandering. So when the mind goes wandering, then there will not be a proper listening. There can be hearing, but it cannot be listening. You may be physically present in the class, wherever you are, but mentally you can be absent. So you have to focus full attention and concentration while you are receiving the message. Then speaking is again 30% of the communication, writing is 9%, and reading is 16%. This is about the verbal communication. Now when it comes to non-verbal communication, it is a major part of the communication that we will also be talking later on in this presentation. So this is a levels of communication: verbal, as I told you, then non-verbal, our gestures, postures, movements, body language, which we call it as a body language. So communication, 7% words. Words are only labels, and the listeners put their own interpretation on speaker's words. Whatever I am speaking, you are free, you are entitled to make your own interpretation. That is by way of word. I may be saying you something else and you interpret entirely differently. So words can be sometimes very confusing. So 38% is paralinguistic. Paralinguistic is that my accent, my pace of the voice, pitch of the voice, projection of the voice, tone of the voice, it is very important. Sometimes you see that the major differences crop up when we say that he spoke this sentence and the tone of the voice was very rough. If the tone of the voice was rough, then we can say that the person was not using a proper communication, because the tone and tenor was not good. And then 5% part, dear friends, is by way of body language. So now we come to the next part, that is what is body language. As I told you that body language is extremely important, dear friends, and a major part of the communication is through the body language. So the body language is the gesture and postures, and it analyzes the emotions transmitted through movements. These can reveal to us his or her state of mind and intentions and personality traits. You see, dear friends, that you can tell a lie, but your body cannot tell a lie. So the adept body readers can easily judge that whether you are telling lie or you are speaking the truth. So this is how the adept body reader catches, and it is one of the most important your personality trait. So using body language very effectively, that is a part of your personality. So you see different pictures, body language. We will discuss subsequently. So now the body language, it has 6 aspects of bodily action: your movement, your eye contact, your facial expressions, postures and gestures. You see, when you are going for the interview, and the moment you start, you enter in the office, you enter in the interview room, your movement, your walking style, you are sitting on the chair, they all are noticed, and these bodily action reflect your confidence, reflect your that how doubtful you are or how confident you are. Your eye contact, whether your eye contact with the interviewer is proper or your eye contact with the interviewer is not proper. You see, it also reflects the confidence of the person. If like suppose a teacher is there in the class and he is teaching in the class and he is not having a proper eye contact with the students, he is not having a proper eye contact, then it means that the teacher is not confident while facing the students in the class. So whenever a teacher is entering in the class, whenever you are there as an interviewee, just have a proper eye contact with everyone, and it will reflect that you are a confident. Your facial expressions also indicator of your confidence. Posture, how you sit, whether you are sitting in that way. If you are sitting in that way, it means you are a doubtful starter again. Your gestures, your hand expressions, your eye expressions, and your everything will matter. That is very important, dear friends, a part of your body language. And you see that it can result in your successful or not being successful in any of the, you can say, in interview or an important meeting, and or in an important gathering, wherever you go. So now, why is body language important? You see, to keep people's attention, कि हमने लोगों का ध्यान खींचना है, and to create a good atmosphere and to create more impact. If you are there, you are very confident, you are using good body language, your posture is good, your articulation is good, your pace, pitch and projection, everything is good. Don't you think that it will not have a positive impact on the person to whom you are talking? Yes, it will have a direct positive impact and a good start already you have. I will say it is a head start. So now you see which of these pictures present an image of good body language during a consultation. You see that in the picture B, the doctor, he is writing some prescription, and what do you indicate? What do you feel? Whether the person is interested or not in the B picture? His head is tilted, posture is not good, and on the contrary, in the picture A, the person is giving, the doctor is giving full attention to the patient, full attention, and the patient is telling something to the doctor, and the doctor has good ear to the everything whatever the patient is narrating. So that is again body language reflects, indicates a very important part. So body language, as told you, how you stand, how you move, how you appear to people, how you look at people. When I say, dear friends, how you sound, when I say that we must have a proper eye contact. Eye contact how much? You will ask me, you can ask me this question, how much? Maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Maximum, if you are impressing upon a one particular point, then maybe little bit more, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. But beyond that, to have a eye contact, that will not be eye contact, it will be staring, and that will create an embarrassment for the person to whom you are staring. So there are certain activities. Now you can do your activity at your home. Describe the body language of your favorite actor. You see the favorite actors. I always liked the body language of Devanand, Rajesh Khanna. So they were real masters. Dilip Kumar, so Nana Patekar. So they are the real masters of the non-verbal communication, and you can learn from them. I will not say imitation, no, imitation is not good, but you can learn some positive parts, because then you will understand the confidence of these persons. So now look energetic. Energy holds people attention, lack of energy puts people to sleep. If you are, you see why body language is there. If you are not putting energy in your talk, if you are very you see lethargic, if you are very indolent, that it means you are lacking energy, and you will put people to sleep. Here I just want to give you one example in a lighter vein, that when the teacher in one of the class entered the class, and he started speaking uninterruptedly, and he was just not energetic, not vibrant. He was speaking like that. Well, students, today we are going to discuss this thing. Today, yesterday we had discussed this thing. He was not having a proper body language. And what will happen? What will happen? You see, after 10, 15, 20 minutes, the students will sleep, and I am sure the last student of the bench at the bench, he will sleep, and if you will say कि अरे भाई इसको जगाना जरा, ये तो सो गया, तो स्टूडेंट क्या कहेगा, सर आपने सुलाया, आके जगा दो. तो ये कितना इम्पॉर्टेंट है टीचर्स के लिए कि आप कॉन्फिडेंट रहें और एग्जैक्ट बड़ी अच्छी बॉडी लैंग्वेज यूज़ करें, सो दैट यू एंड द होल क्लास will be on the toes, and you know that what you are going to deliver, and the students are receiving that. So look relaxed. If you relax people, they will have more confidence in you. If you are not relaxed, अगर आप ही relax नहीं है तो आप confidence class को कैसे relax कर सकते हो? Tell me. If you are not relaxed, people cannot focus on the content. वो आपके content पे focus नहीं करेंगे. और मैं एक और बात कहता हूँ, sometimes the teachers are using jargons. Don't use the jargons. Have a very vast communication, control over the language. If you will have a control over the language, vast communication, then I am sure that you will not be using the jargon. I have seen that some persons, not anyone, it can be teacher, it can be anyone, in his communication style, he will use the word ke matlab, ki ji matlab hai, matlab, and sometime what happened, the students call him as a matlab teacher. So it is all for everyone. Okay, don't use these type of jargons in your talks. So now look, relax, smile, use humor, and it will be again a very good message. Then you are using humor, it means that you are creating an indelible impression whatever you are delivering. Breathe slowly. It is not that you are just vomiting out the whole syllabus or the whole talk whatever you have the mugged. No, breathe slowly. It should be your slow, and let your arms hang loose like that. Let your arms hang loose. Don't make nervous movements. You see that nervous movement going there in the room, going this side in the room. These are the nervous movement. And dear friend, everyone will understand that you are lacking confidence and you are not that fully relaxed. So look confident. Don't be afraid of the audience. Very important. It is very important in public speaking. When there is a public speaking, then don't be afraid of the audience, because the audience will judge you immediately that whether you are relaxed or you are not relaxed. Be prepared for the problem. There can be awkward moments, and be prepared to handle. Whenever you are speaking in public, there can be, yes, there can be some awkward moments, and no problem. There is nothing to be nervous and get anxious. Handle these according to the situation. So certain communication barriers we will discuss in the part 3. Thank you, dear students. Now wait for the third video on this particular topic, leadership and communication, pertaining to communication barriers. Thank you.